Very good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Engineering, School of Engineering and IT, Arkajan University, I, Tivali, Assistant Professor, would welcome our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S.S. Raji sir, Director, Dr. Amit Srivastav sir, Dean of Students' Welfare, Dr. Angad Tiwari sir, Register Mr. Jasbir Singh Dhanjal sir, Assistant Dean Mr. Ashwini Kumar sir, Honorable Speaker, and all dear participants to the day 4 of the 5 days National Faculty Development Program on Smart City Opportunities and Development. I feel highly privileged to introduce our honorable speaker for the session. Name is Mr. Rashid Shayyad Anwar and his qualification is MTech from ITER, passed in the year of 2014. Teaching experience is more than 5 years, and in this experience, he had a 3 years experience in the Women's Polytechnic, Government Women's Polytechnic College. And after that, he joined Arkajan University in the Department of Engineering and School of Engineering and IT as an assistant professor. His experiences research fields are web technology, Android applications, and IoT. Currently, he is guiding the students for the internal assessment applications using Flatters. And so today he is with us to highlight on use of multi-camera CCTV for smart surveillance system. So over to you, Rashid sir.
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Vali ma'am, for that wonderful introduction of mine. I hope I'm clearly audible to all.
Yes, sir,
Am
you are audible.
Okay, okay. Just hold on for a moment. I'll start my presentation, then I'll start with today's proceeding.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, kindly let me know if my PPT is visible.
Yes, sir, your PPT is visible.
Okay. So once again, I wish everyone a very warm welcome to this today's session of 5 days National Faculty Development Program. As mentioned earlier by Wali ma'am, my name is Syed Rashid Anwar, and I'm here to present a session on use of multi-camera CCTV for smart surveillance system. Okay. Okay, so these are the introductions or these are the contents that we are going to get throughout this session, starting from the very basics of the introduction part of what uh, a CCTV is and why is it so important in today's scenario. And after that, we'll go up till the smart surveillance system where we'll be integrating the CCTV along with specific sensors and use of 5G technology along with IoT and blockchain technologies. So there will be an amalgamation of several technologies integrated into one to make it as a smart CCTV surveillance system. Okay. Now, in our day-to-day life, everyone must have seen CCTV or might have been through those areas where you are finding that you are being under the surveillance of a CCTV, right? Uh, so in this session, we'll get to know about the fundamental aspects and components related to CCTV surveillance system. But let's go with the basic history or what led to the origin of CCTV, right? Uh, Most of you might be knowing the history of internet, right? That initially it was ARPANET, and again it was used for this defense organization during the war period, and then later on it was commonly used as internet. Similar such thing has led to the invention of CCTV. So mostly, as I can say that mostly war is not a good thing that we should consider, but in terms of the technology and its invention, I think war has played a very impactful role over here. So just like internet, in fact, our CCTV got its inception during the phase of war. Okay. So at first, CCTV system was installed by the Siemens AG organization to observe the launching of rockets at test stand 7, and later on it was used for observing public area and public domains. Okay. Later on, in 1990s, the digital multiplexing concept of the electrical and electronic era that paved way for multiple CCTV recordings. So initially, it was made for a single CCTV footage.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Your voice is breaking. So,
Okay, okay, I'll be a little bit slower.
Rashid, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Rashid, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Might be possible
Alright.
that ma'am said it is clearly audible, sir.
Okay, okay.
Rashid sir, it's only that
Your voice is breaking, sir. We
after
are not
I
able to hear you properly.
Okay. Is it clear now?
It is clear, sir. It is clear. You can continue.
Okay, okay, thank you. Uh, So right now you can see so much applications of CCTV. Currently we are at our university here. We are under the surveillance of CCTVs. In fact, at our homes also we are also making use of CCTVs for internal surveillance. So whether you are residing at your place or you are moving through metro stations, and you're going through public places like shopping malls and several such places, you make use of CCTVs for surveillance. Okay. Now, the question arises is before the implementation of CCTV, there was the concept of manual surveillance, right? We used to have gatekeepers, watchmen for special surveillance. Why don't we make use of manual surveillance, or what is the advantage of CCTVs over the manual surveillance? First of all, we might find that there's very limited performance. If we are discussing about the manual surveillance, there we have very limited performance, and again that performance might vary from user to user or the person to person. Okay? Also, in order to maintain that manual surveillance, it becomes a little bit costlier. Okay, so at the costlier side, we have the manual surveillance. Uh, again, human tendency is there that we need to have proper rest, so there might be a lack of attention over there. We also need more situational awareness of the circumstances that can lead to a catastrophic situation. Again, these things vary from person to person, and the last but not the least, the most important factor is that there is an element of risk involved. So for a person who is at the front line, who is taking guard, who is taking care of you or your personal belongings, there is an element of risk involved with his life. So these things can be considered over, or these can be taken as the drawbacks of manual surveillance, and because of which we are giving more and more emphasis on internal CCTV footages and CCTV surveillance system, right? What are the current standards of this CCTV surveillance system? If I can elaborate on this, we can categorize this thing into two categories, that is indoor and outdoor. So indoor is all the surveillance system that you place inside a building, at your home, at your shopping malls, all those places. And outdoor is for traffic management and parks and all the social places where you can gather outside of a building. The indoor standard is meant to fulfill the requirements pertaining to a house, building, or a small organization. Right. Currently, here we make use of dome cameras, bullet cameras for basic internal surveillance. But in fact, nowadays you can see the use of or the implementation of wireless cameras. Even that has gained some acceptance in public domains. Also, for external usage, we might use these basic cameras along with along with their higher versions, uh, as well as there are some special cameras like C-mounted cameras. Then we have ANPR, LPR, that is automatic number plate recognition, and license plate recognition or registration cameras for keeping an eye on not only on humans but also on their vehicles, right? So we make use of fast tag these days. We make use of digital or e technologies here, where we can clearly go through a surveillance system just by having that fast tag card, right? Now, why different cameras? Okay, why so many different cameras? Why don't we make use of a single camera? First of all, different cameras have different quality, uh, different performance, different range, different standards, different advantages and disadvantages of their own. So depending upon the scenario, depending upon your personal choice, depending upon the requirement of that locality, you might pick a specific camera. Okay? Like for example, you might not be using an LPR, that is license plate registration camera, at your home, right? But that might be very much useful in day-to-day traffic areas where we need to monitor each and every vehicles that are incoming or outgoing. Okay. Now, again, if we can compare these cameras, some are good with night vision, others are good in storing information, even for high quality image resolution. So as compared to the previous standards that we used to have, even a 1.2 megapixel camera or 2 megapixel camera would not be able to sufficiently or clearly show each and every content in proper detail. But nowadays, with the use of HD high definition cameras, and along with the high use of bandwidth or 4G and 5G enabled internet services and technology, more and more cameras are being developed that can take very good quality or high resolution images. Apart from cameras, there are certain more requirements that we may require. Those are enlisted over here. That is a digital video recorder or a network-based video recorder. So if you are using an internal camera that consists of a LAN cable or that is connected to your system through a LAN cable, there you might be using a DVR, that is the digital video recorder. But in case if you are using an IP camera where you can use your smartphone or your laptop or your system for external visualization, there you can use NVR. Along with them, you can have your Cat6 cables and all those things. The utmost important thing is the disk or the place where you are going to store your data. So depending upon your requirement, you might be using 1 TB of hard drive or something like that, depending upon how much data you want to store and preserve for how many days. These are the very basic things, and this is just a pictorial representation where you can see different components have been merged together to display a total system. Right. Now, moving on with the smart city, constituting a smart city. Now, how do you see a smart city? Like, what is the limit of a smart city in terms of its physical area? So, first of all, in fact, the government of India has laid down this criteria, like for planning a smart city, we must have a clear demarcation, like this much area will be comprising or will be called as a smart city. First of all, you might be having a physical or geographical location, like how much area do we require that will constitute a smart city. Now, along with that, first, if we demarcate or we plan out the area, total area that will be under the smart city, we need to perform the boundary fencing. Right? These are the very basic things related to how we are going to apply the surveillance system. And once the outer boundary has been constituted, then we can go for an internal grid layout. Presently, we see in our developing towns, all the 3 tiers, 2 tiers towns, that internal layout or underground layout of water pipelines, for gas pipeline, for electricity, each and everything is taking over these days, right? So similar to that, if we have to construct or we have to prepare a new city, we have to plan out these things beforehand. It's not like that we'll prepare the buildings and infrastructures, and after that we'll go for internal digging and layout of each and every such components. So before those things are laid down, we must have a proper planning, a blueprint through which we are going to lead to this proper layout of each and every component. So as per the guidelines laid down by the government of India, the first and foremost task is to demarcate the total area, right? Now, once the total area is known, the task is to fence the entire region. Right? A proper combination of surveillance camera and sensors. Okay, here I'm including the sensors also. Sensors can make it sufficient enough to keep a track of any kind of incomings. This creates the first phase of surveillance. Okay. Now, use of night vision, infrared, thermal cameras form the basis of this section, the external region. Now, see, let me give you an example. When we try to enter any state or any city, and we have seen these things in the previous year where we have been through the lockdown phase, very strict vigilance was required in order to maintain the incomings and outgoings records. Okay. So keeping those things and keeping and taking forward these things for our future implementation also, I think CCTV and the combination of CCTV along with various technologies will make it much more comprehensive, that it leads to a better or a smarter future for us. Now, once we go into, or once we try to enter a city or a region, we have very few incoming points, right? So we have very few incoming points from where we can easily monitor or track the people who are trying to enter into the region or who are trying to go out of the region. Okay. The implementation of high definition cameras along with the cameras for recognizing your vehicle, recognizing the vehicle through the color, through its shape, through its number plate, through its design. Okay, so these things can be taken care of through the advancement of artificial intelligence or implementation of AI over the CCTV. Now, the security can be extensively beefed up by the use of drone cameras that can help us in continuous tracking, along with the live feeding or live tracking of live feeding of data. Now, all the vehicles that enter into the region can be seen at one or more checkpoints. Each uh, checkpoints can take care of each and every detail related to a vehicle. So right now, if you're having a four-wheeler, if you're having a car, you might be going through its insurance. You might have to clear its green channel clearance. You might be having its fast tag. So there are different types of registration, different types of documents you need to carry in order to get the clearance. Otherwise, you might be asked to pay certain amount of fine by the local authorities. Now, these things become very complicated, as you might have seen in our national highways also. That a lot of log jams, a lot of traffic jams take place once a vehicle is taken over and is being considered for these kind of documentations, right? So, in order to maintain a streamlined flow of traffic, in order to remove the congestion, the government of India introduced FASTag. Now, what this FASTag refers to? Now, FASTag is simply a RFID tag, RFID code, which is provided, or a unique RFID code that is provided to each and every individual, four-wheeler or any larger vehicle, okay, or a heavy vehicle, sorry. Uh, so each such vehicle will be implemented with a unique ID that will be under the FASTag application. Once you reach a checkpoint or a toll plaza, there will be a sensor. It monitors or it captures your RFID tag, the FASTag identity. It monitors the amount in your wallet, and then the amount that has to be deducted will be deducted directly. So there is no involvement of waiting for manual transaction, giving the change and taking a receipt. No such thing is involved over here. You simply have to go for stop at the checkpoint for for a moment. The scanner or the RFID tag takes care of all those things. It deducts the amount from your wallet, and you can simply walk over and move ahead. So these things have improve the quality of traveling, or the standard of our national highways, and the traffic has been streamlined. So that is one such application where you are making use of CCTV along with sensors and making use of these things. At the same time, we can also trace or track down each and every individual vehicle, or it can also have an information like how many people are traveling, how many males, females are traveling in this vehicle. Uh, so these are few implications, but again, recently you might have heard this news that at some states in India, people have tried to take an advantage of this FASTag. How they have done this thing is that they have taken an FASTag of a four-wheeler and implemented it on a heavy vehicle like their bus or their trucks. And whenever those bus and heavy vehicles used to pass through FASTag, through that FASTag checkpoints, the FASTag ID used to identify this vehicle as a four-wheeler, as a small vehicle, and that much amount of money used to get deducted. So once a proper thorough checkup was performed, or an investigation was performed, later on they came to realize that people are making misusing the RFID tags or the fast tags in order to save their money. So in fact, these things can be implemented, and every technology has its pros and cons. It depends how fair you use them. Okay, so application of FASTag has definitely improved the flow of traffic in national highways, and hence there is a reduction in the rate of delay of delivery of goods as well as services. Again, one of the biggest advantage that we are going to achieve once we implement the proper application of CCTVs along with different other technologies is that it makes it easier for us to be prepared for the incoming vulnerabilities, incoming attacks, incoming threats towards the city. And in fact, in the current scenario, we mostly deploy our policemen, our army men for the safeguarding the city or a proper region, right? If we take them a step backward, if we take them a step inside the region, inside the smart city, and we make the first line of defense with the help of CCTV and all the advanced level of sensors and technologies. There we might be able to prepare ourselves in a much better, or we might make our policemen and all the people who are in the front line or known as the frontline warriors, they'll be prepared beforehand for the incoming threats. So there again, we might be able to save so many lives. In fact, technology, this type of technology or introduction of so much technologies into a single phase can lead to a better future. Now, um, once we get inside a town or a smart city, okay, uh, the problem becomes larger because of the population, because of the different routes through which people are coming, different types of people they are coming, the amount or the population that is entering into a region, like number of people entering into a shopping mall vastly gets increased during the weekends, in the Saturdays and Sundays, right? So in order to that, in order to maintain proper surveillance, the surveillance system must be readily available to accept that much amount of population. Again, that the frequency of arrival of population is too big, arrival as well as departure. So in order to maintain that thing also, that it needs to keep a track of each and every entrance and exit, the system must be readily available. The problem arises when we are supposed to monitor several several incomings arriving from multiple sources, and the frequency of movement is very high as well as unpredictable. Here, we need a larger system of, I should say that, interconnected surveillance system comprising of various types of cameras, not just a single type of camera, but rather different types of cameras for tracking different types of elements like vehicle tracking, human tracking, and in fact, traffic management also. Uh, During this lockdown phase, and then after the reopening of each and every shopping malls, you might have seen that the latest shopping malls uh, make use of those kind of CCTVs that are also audio enabled. So in fact, when you get into the checkpoint or at the entrance where you are being searched properly, you have to, the CCTV takes your, that captures your image, and at the same time you have to mention your name, phone number, and your residential address. Okay. So a combination of audio, video, and image format makes it much more easier for us to keep a record of each and every individual. Now, grid layout and arrival of artificial intelligence. See, we do have larger system of interconnected surveillance system, but nowadays, if you see the previous versions that has been implemented beforehand, those are very lame technology. Those are very slower technology, and again, they do have very limited resources. Their application or their intention are very limited. Limited in the sense that they can capture videos, they can take a image out of those videos, and that's it. Nothing more can be expected out of it. But with the arrival of artificial intelligence and implementation of artificial intelligence over the CCTVs, makes it much more easier for our facial recognition. In fact, intrusion detection system can be implemented. Uh, Pattern matching is available over here, and sustainable use of resources are implemented. I'll try to give an example of each such thing. Uh, Use of or application of artificial intelligence with CCTV in terms of facial recognition. Nowadays, you see that smart cars are in use. Uh, that keyless entry is there. You don't have to carry your car keys. The moment you reach your car, and it has a fingerprint sensor, you press the handle and it opens up automatically. Okay, so that has improved. In fact, you can handle those things through your in fact, you can handle the entrance of your home, your locality, through your facial recognition. So if you're residing in an apartment and the main gate is being secured through the technologies, you don't need any manual intervention over there. You can make use of facial recognition. So once you reach up to your location or your entrance point of your apartment, the CCTV recognizes your image that is available in the local server, matches it through pattern matching. Uh, Once the matching is completed successfully, then the gate opens automatically. So once you enter into your apartment, it again closes the door. So here, for our security, we introduce or we provide much better implementation of technologies for safeguarding our personal belongings as well as for our lives. One such example is the intrusion detection system. Okay, I'll get to that intrusion detection system in the later slides. Sustainable use of resources. Now, as the population is increasing day by day, we are utilizing so many resources. Again, those are renewable as well as non-renewable. Uh, there are there are so many resources which will become extinct as we make use of those resources without planning for the future. So if we can use those resources in a sustainable manner, like use of papers, use of fuel, use of energies uh, that cannot be renewed, okay, that can lead to a much better and much smarter future for our upcoming generations. Right? One such application where we make use of CCTVs is that, in fact, that has been implemented successfully in Asian countries like China, Korea, and Japan. One such example is that if we go to a public restroom, and if you want to use that public restroom, you might be using tissue papers, right? So when we go to a shopping mall and inside it, if I'm going to restroom and utilizing the tissue papers, there is no such limitation of how much tissue paper I'm going to use or how much tissue paper do I require, right? So depending upon the user, depending upon our casualness, we make excessive use of tissue papers and all those things. But we can improvise, we can improve these things by the use of technology. As you can see over here, or rather you can imagine this thing, you might be having a container that will be containing tissue papers. Once you reach up to that place, there will be a camera that will capture your image and it will store it in the local server, and it will dispose or it will provide you the required amount of tissue papers. Now, if you again retry to use that if you require few more tissue papers, you cannot use it. The message will be thrown out that you have utilized your amount or your quota of resources. Please come after certain duration of time. So for a limited duration of time, you might be blocked for reusing that resource, right? So this is one such example where we can implement facial recognition along with the implementation and involvement of database through which we match the patterns or recognize the faces, and we implement or provide the application as and when required. That can lead to a sustainable use of resource. Now, talking about the intrusion detection system. As you can see, there is an entrance and that has been surrounded by the boundary walls, and the blue color grid lines reflect the incoming places from where we have placed the blue arrow marks show the entrance points that are vulnerable points through which someone can enter into my house. Okay. This red color arrow mark depicts there is a person who is trying to enter into my personal area, personal zone. Okay. So what we can do is that we can implement on our CCTV the artificial intelligence and other technologies which can safeguard our personal belongings. So here we have implemented or we have taken use of programmings and artificial intelligence technologies so that we can monitor through CCTV and generate an alert if somebody tries to enter into the region, either through time based or through uh, any time as such. Like for an example, suppose I have to go to work from 10 to 5. At that time, nobody is at my home. I want that my system should generate an alert message if somebody tries to enter the home in this period from 10 to 5. So whenever somebody tries to enter, all the blue color grid lines turn up as red. And once this sensor detects there is a motion or there is a change in the environment, it detects each and everything and monitors and signals the output uh, to the end user, either through SMS or through an alert notification or through any other means. Okay. So these are the few implementations that we can. These technologies are not general. That has not been generalized. That has not been used in common households nowadays. But being in a smarter city or being in a smart city, these technologies might become handy, as well as these technologies might become the need of the hour. That in order to safeguard and in order to protect yourself as well as your nearest and dear ones, you might have to be implementing these things at your local areas, at your personal areas, either internally as well as externally. Now, this is a footage or a snapshot taken from an external CCTV. As you can see, there are so many faces. If we compare this image with the previous one, here there is just a single person, okay, and here so many different people of different genders with different types of movements. Some are coming towards the camera, some are moving away from the camera. Some faces are not visible clearly, right? So it makes it much more difficult for a camera to capture so many different images or so many different faces along with at different positions with different scenarios. Like someone is standing at an angle that is directly showing towards or moving towards the camera. Some are moving away from the camera. Some at such an angle that is very difficult to take a proper identification of the individual. The major problem arises when there are so many faces, though so many individuals, and you have to gather information of each and every one. And in fact, successfully, these things have been incorporated through the use of better CCTVs. Nowadays, a smarter CCTV is also capable enough of tracking your or recognizing your face and determining your name, your age, and each and every detail that are residing in the public domain. Okay. So just like with the use of what we use as an unique identification, that is our Aadhaar card, different countries have their unique identification systems. So once you are registered under those unique identification system, each and every detail like your photo, your detail address, your phone number, each and every detail resides in the server. Now, these CCTV networks are again connected, or the servers are connected, interconnected through the database. Once we click on an image, once we get a live feed of somebody's face, the camera takes a facial recognition of that, sends the image to the server matches it with the current database, and if a match is found, each and every detail are shared in the real time. So whatever data they are trying to communicate, they are communicating in real time. It's not like once we capture an image after an incident and then we track down uh, like who was that guy, right? So advancement in CCTVs and its technology has enabled us to track or live track each and every proceedings that are happening, and through this and through the concept of blockchain technologies and neural networks, we can also predict what is what is about to happen at that location, depending upon the previous records of each and every week, each and every month, and each and every year. So we have a large database. Using the blockchain technology, we can integrate those things, and we can find a pattern of each and every activity that has took place on this particular day, on each and every previous weeks. I'll play a video over here. We'll see to it. Let me see if I can play this one. This one, yeah. So as you can see in this video, small clip, the camera is taking an automated attendance. So you don't have to go towards a biometric. You don't have to make use of registers, papers, and all those things. Everything has been automated just with the arrival of CCTV and its introduction with different technologies, right? So here we can make use of machine learning and neural networks, and all different types of present day future ready technologies that can help us in building for a brighter and safer future. Now, here what is happening is that when a person enters, the camera captures the image, okay, irrespective of whether you are seeing towards the camera or not. It's not necessary that you have to look into the camera and it captures your image and then it throws the image into the server to recognize the face and then mark it as an attendance in the server. No. Once you enter into the room or in the close proximity of CCTV, it captures your image. Now the problem arises. You might be asking that if we make several movements throughout the day towards the camera, will it keep on taking the attendance? No, it's not like that. You can limit that thing through time-based intervals. Okay, like proper at from 10 to 10:15, all those people entering into the system will be marked as present. After that, it won't count it as a. The server will not take any entrance as an attendance, right? So these are the few implementation that we can go and implement in our near future. Okay? These technologies are not very expensive, but rather they can lead to much better, hassle-free, and streamline each and everything. Nowadays, once you have to if you have been through these situations where you have to go into a biometric system, you have to give your fingerprint, or you have to wait for retina scan or facial recognition, it takes a little bit of time, and then each and everyone coming after you have to wait until you complete your task. But here you can see each and everyone is coming, and the attendance is so streamlined that the camera takes image of each and every individual entering into the system. Now, the present image that we have stopped over here, there are two people, one with green mark and one is with blue mark, unknown. The moment camera takes image of that person, it throws it into the server or database for facial recognition. Once the face or that individual has been uh, marked by the database, like, yeah, this face has been recognized by this name, his or her attendance go into the server, and he is or she is been marked as present. So the person who is towards the camera, whose name has been marked as green, his attendance has been successfully registered. And the moment we continue with this video, the moment that second person comes closer, the database will verify its authenticity, and it will mark the individual as present. Okay, see, it very it very clearly takes place or takes care of these things. Now, moving forward, we have advanced communication system, 5G and beyond. Recently, we have came to know about that in India, 5G technology has been successfully tested by Airtel as well as with other uh, telecommunication services, and we are ready for the implementation of 5G services. And nowadays, you can see newer smartphones are coming with 5G enabled systems, 5G enabled hardwares. Okay, what this 5G technology brings into that can help us in improving the current standard of CCTV or surveillance system. As you can see, it's written over here, it's evolutionary as well as revolutionary. Evolutionary in the sense like it will provide much larger bandwidth at a lower latency rate as compared to the current or the 4G, 3G technology. Now, higher bandwidth or larger bandwidth means more and more applications can be simultaneously used at the same time. A lower latency rate means each and every data can be streamlined or live streamed or live feeded into the database or through multiple broadcasting techniques. So once when we go to a stadium to watch a cricket or a football or any such sports, uh, we are only watching the live event what that is happening in front of our eyes. But once an activity happens, like a wicket falls down, a player takes a catch, if you want to have a repeat telecast, you don't have any such privilege right now, right? If we implement 5G technology inside a stadium, what it does is that it captures the image from different CCTVs available at the stadium, and it throws those images or rather those clips to the users who are using or who are connected through 5G technology. So at the real time, you can see, or at just right amount of time, you can see a recorded session that has taken place few moments before. Now it is revolutionary, as it is expected to enable fundamentally new applications with much more stringent requirements in latency and bandwidth. So basically, latency and streaming has things to do with real time and as well as streaming of data. Now, with the arrival of 4K televisions and 4K enabled video systems, we won't be require higher amount of bandwidth That is sufficient with current 4G technology that we have. But in order to increase, as the load is being increased day and day, we might require, or we might require in near future a few more amount of space, because as the invention of or introduction to Internet of Things, IoT devices is taking place at a rapid amount, at a rapid space, uh, we might fall short of the IP addresses of the bandwidth that is being allocated over here. So with the revolutionary idea or introduction of 5G services, 5G technology, we might be able to have a much better or a much more clarity in terms of streaming of videos or providing data in real time. Now, what are the benefits promised by 5G that has been uh, demarcated over here? Software defined networking is there. Network function virtualization is there, and then Internet of Things. This is the most important thing that we need to discuss, Internet of Things. You see nowadays smart bulbs, smart watches, smart gadgets. So every electrical or electronic equipment is now being termed as a smart device, like your smartphone, your smartwatch, uh, smart bulb, smart TVs. So most of the electrical and electronic appliances, including your washing machine, refrigerators. So whatever applications were available beforehand, we are trying to implement, or we are trying to incorporate the new technology that will integrate, or that will bring an integral concept of internet. So every technology will get internet or will get embedded with internet, and these applications or these appliances can be readily uh, worked upon or can be handled even out from residing outside of your home. If you're not at your home, you want to switch on your AC, that is possible nowadays. If you want to turn on your light, turn off your light, you can simply do it just with a click of a button from your smartphone. So these things are taking over, and in fact, you can have a visualization of your each and every room and each and every nook and corner of your place, what is happening at what time. So it's not like that you have to go through each and every minutes, each and every intervals of video in order to get to a location, like in order to get to a particular time frame. With the arrival of blockchain technology, what it does is it disintegrates your total data into small fragments, into small segments, into small packets, and those packets are again time frame based. So if you want to have a particular verification, or if you want to have data for related to 5 minutes or 10 minutes or a 1 hour video footage, you can simply collect that much amount of data only. You don't have to fall through, you don't have to move through each and every data that has been collected by your CCTV. Now, one more advantage that we are going to use, that we are going to achieve through 5G is that the quality of service will be enhanced. Presently, we are satisfied we are kind of satisfied, like 4G technology has made so much advancement, and we are happy that we are making use of 4G technology. But the arrival of 5G technology will significantly improve your quality of service, quality of standard, in terms of different applications that we are using nowadays. It's not only with the internet facility, but 5G is more related with different applications of internet. How many appliances, how many applications that you can achieve, how many appliances you can assemble, you can attach to a single point of source from where you can handle each and everything. Nowadays, you are having applications for each and every individual product. For a smart bulb, you have a smart application. For a smartwatch, you have a different application. There will be a time where you'll be using a single application for each and every home appliances that you are using, irrespective of whether they belong to the same producer or different producers. Now, uplifting our standards through smart CCTVs. There is a quotation like a complex idea can be conveyed with just a single still image, namely making it possible to absorb large amount of data quickly. And this is the same thing that we just have been through in our previous slides. With the arrival of 5G technology along with Internet of Things, if we combine those two things with our current surveillance system, the current surveillance system it is guaranteed that the current surveillance system will take an upliftment and it will become much more smarter, much more responsive, much more proactive in terms of providing real-time data and real-time footage that can be taken as an evidence in order to make a case against someone. So if you are finding an individual who is not supposed to be at a place, he or she can be very quickly the data can be sent towards the local or a remote or a centralized control room, and there they will generate a signal, and that signal will go to the nearest possible police officer or the officer in charge, and they can take care of that thing. So within a few moments, anything can be captured and taken care of. These things are not possible, or it becomes much more difficult with current generation of surveillance system that we have been using nowadays. But with the incorporation of IoT along with 5G technology, these things will definitely get an upliftment. Now, in order to compare few data, okay, now these are predictive data taken from 2020 and what we are predicting towards the 2023 market. So depending upon, again, the source has been taken from Gartner 2019 data. Connected cars, then we have outdoor surveillance camera. Different components are there where we implement or we make use of 5G along with IoT, and how much they are going to take the percentage share of market in the upcoming years. So as you might have been through statistical data that defines that the current growth rate of IoT devices is so huge, so humongous that in few years of time we might fall short of total number of IP addresses. So IP4, IP6 addressing nodes will not be able to take care or provide IP addresses for each and every individual components that is belonging to IoT. So we need to have a proper idea like how can we make use of these applications by also integrating the current scenario or current technologies that is being in use. It's not like we will generate or we will develop a technology or we'll develop an application or rather a device and we'll simply put it over here and it will become an IoT device. In order to provide those things, in order to make use of internet, it has to conform to the all the protocols that we have to be in use in terms of internet. So TCP, IP protocols are there. And again, different types of protocols are there in order to share data and all those things. So we have to follow all those proper guidelines, all those criteria that can enable a technology or a device to incorporate or belong into the category of IoT. Now these are few data graphical representation where we have found top 10 cities according to the number of surveillance cameras. Excessive use of camera is also not a good thing. Insufficient use of camera is also again might generate problems for people. a proper utilization depending upon the population of a region, depending upon the topographical situations, depending upon the climatic situations, and keeping a tab on the behavior of a society or a locality, you can implement those things. And once the surveillance has been put together in a proper manner with its full efficiency, a city becomes much more better, much more safer, and much more uh, healthier in terms of residing at that place. Right. So as you can see, most of the cities belong to the region of China. And if you'll go to or if you'll collect some data regarding CCTV surveillance system, China is one of the highest users that has a plan of integrating or implementing almost around more than 600 millions of CCTVs for this surveillance system. So more than 600 million. It tends down to, or they have a target for each and every city that one CCTV or one CCTV camera will be sufficient enough to keep a record of two individuals. So for a group of two individuals, they are going to utilize one CCTV. That much amount of stress, that much amount of integration of technology that they have thought of incorporating in order to make the each and every city as a smart one. So if we think of these data, if we think of these uh, ideas and implement this in our home or in our locality or in our cities, with the proper utilization and proper implementation of technology, yes, in fact, you can make your home a smarter place. In fact, you can make your society a smarter society. And in fact, you can make your city a smarter one. Moving with the end part, the smart sustainable future. Here we are having, see, how can we achieve a smart sustainable future? So this is a representation that we are trying to implement using the blockchain technology. Now, if I can just give you a few things related to blockchain. Basically, blockchain is a specific type of database. If the current database that we are using, that is able to capture so much large volume of data, yeah, it is possible. But what can be done with those data that cannot be categorized through the current database? This is where blockchain comes into action. As and when a new data arrives or enters into the database, it is kept in a block of data. Once the block is filled completely, what it will do is that it will chain together each and every block with the previous blocks available. So it decomposes a set of images or data and makes them as block. And once such block is completely filled up, it will integrate this block with the previous blocks. So what it provides is that a block of data is much more easier to retract, to download or to get from the database rather to search throughout the database and then extract data. So data extraction is limited over here as compared to the current standard of database. This improves or this significantly improves the speed at which data can be extracted from database and improvised upon. Because we don't need only the footage. From that footage, we have to extract so many data, depending upon your uh, backtracking your movement, like last 5 days, where have you been at which places, so that you cannot deny your position, your geographical movements, right? So incorporation of these things along with the previous scenarios, what it does is that when we capture any video from a CCTV at the sensor level, there we have metadata. It collects several amount of data and it gives it to the local server. Local server then takes these things and again makes a block of these things, and using the blockchain concept, it distributes these data to each and every server that are interconnected. So depending upon your locality or depending upon uh, your current place, your current geographical availability, the server might throw data to the local nearest local police station or the officer in charge, and from there they can take care of each and every activity or each and every thing that is supposed to take over place. So depending upon the user, or whether you are an end user or the administrator or the controller, okay, you can make use of these applications. One more example, or one more advantage of using blockchain technology over the current database technology is that we also have to keep a check on security of data. Data is of utmost importance. We are at a risk of loss of data, or threat of data being compromised, data being breached, and so many things can happen from our one such data, like your unique identification. We can, if I can have the detail of your unique identification, I can have your bank details, I can have your present address, I can have your phone number, I can have your different details. So once we get hold of such data, we can find each and every detail of yours, your age, your food habits, your previous visits, uh, your taste, your choice, your privileges. Each and everything is public, becomes public. So in order to safeguard the individual's data, blockchain is much more reliable as compared to current database. Again, this is a UML diagram, Unified Modeling Language diagram, where we have tried to elaborate the previous example. And again, depending upon, as I mentioned earlier, like how do we analyze data through, or how do we trace out vehicles through their color, through their size, through their shapes. Those things can be incorporated depending upon how much applications we want to indulge into the current scenario. So we're not going into the details of these things, but yes, rather we can go to the conclusion that the current rate of growth of population demands more and more strict and advanced level of surveillance that can lead to a better and safer future. All I can say with this is that we must take this technology with a pinch of reality, that at one side this safeguards our individuality, this is for our better future, for our safety, but on the other hand, if you see that it is also important to prepare a set of guidelines for these surveillance systems, as it may easily cross the limit of one's privacy and put an individual's identity and of personal data at risk. Data vulnerability is at their highest possible risk. We need to safeguard data of each and every individual. Again, too much, as it was mentioned in the previous session, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, by one of our speaker, that right to information, right to privacy, these are so vulnerable these days that it is very difficult to analyze which activity falls inside the right to information, or which falls as a negative part of that. So there is a very thin line between how much privacy does individual possesses, in how much surveillance can be incorporated or can be thrown for an individual, so that we can have a much better future for each and every individual. With this, I conclude my presentation, my session. I hope you might have enjoyed. Any questions, any queries, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Rashid sir, for your valuable time and the precious words what you have shared with us. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation from on behalf of Arkajan University. I thanks a lot to you. And dear participants, before going for a question session, I wanted to give you information that the feedback and the attendance form link is shared in a chat box. So please duly fill that form. So, is there any questions from your side, participants? Feel free to ask. Yes, dear participants, any queries? Ma'am, Nishad ma'am, the link is already shared in a chat box. Yes. Anybody having any queries? I hope.
Can I ask a question, Rashid sir?
Yes, ma'am, please.
In the slide where you were talking about RFID tag being misused, uh, can we not club together with the license plate number? Why? Because nowadays even license plate numbers can be detected and through cameras, and we get the whether you have missed the red light or not. So can it not be clubbed together so that we can check whether the RFID tag license plate and the license plate of the car or the vehicle is same or not?
Yes, thank you for your question, ma'am. Yes, that is one such possibility. But again, the miscreants also, what they try to do is that they try to take a fake number plate, right? Even that is being taken care of. And once that thing gets incorporated, it will be very difficult for the miscreants to make use of such activities. Yes, that is one such solution for that, and I think government of India is taking care of those things. And in the near future, also, you might not be able to go through all those payment system and all those surveillance system. Rather, you have depending upon your geo tagging, your geo location, geographical locations, uh, which location, which city you are entering into it, the payment will be automatically done through your e-wallet systems. So again, if you are into a smart city, this technology will definitely be incorporated in the near future.
Thank you, Rashid sir, for quenching my queries.
Most welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Rashid sir, for giving us such an informative informations to us. I think any other participants would like to ask any queries and the questions. So, yes, information about the security and the CCTV surveillance. So I hope everybody got the points and all things clarified with your presentation. Thank you so much. So I, Diwali, yes, Rashid sir, would you like to say anything?
No, ma'am. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for the point.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, sir, and accepting our invitation. So, thank you. And we are very uh, highly privileged to say, as an participants, we are participated in such a great FTP. So, this is the end of the session one. And please duly join the second session of today's. So thank you all the participants. Take a break and we will meet in the second session. Thank you so much.
Valli ma'am, I'll let this session continue for 5-7 minutes in case some of the person have not yet given the responses. Others who have given the attendance and feedback, they are free to leave and have a great and enjoy your break.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure. Thank you so much, everybody. And please duly fill the form. Thank you.
I've posted the next session's joining link in case you have not received it yet. Those who have joined late, the session has been closed. Please fill the feedback cum attendance form.